What's going on, guys? It's Fragger here again, and welcome back to another episode of Fragger Builds. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do today because I have a lot that I need to get done. I still want to build up some more of this part of the city, and I also want to plan out the palace up there on the hill, and I also want to start work on this mountainside renovation. But I have done a lot of work off camera. As you can see by the roofs of these houses, they are for the most part fully oxidized. I did leave this one alone because I kind of wanted to have a benchmark to see how long it actually took for these roofs to oxidize. But I ended up figuring out why these roofs were taking so long to oxidize. And it is because in 1.17, with copper, if there is a copper block next to another copper block, it will take longer to oxidize. And that is why these roofs were taking so long. So I ended up tearing them apart and then laying them out spaced apart to get them to oxidize faster. And as you can see, it worked. And that is as far as that roof got. And I just left that one alone. But as you can see, this is what it looks like with the copper blocks just kind of spaced out. And they are oxidizing pretty quickly. I did place these not too long ago. In fact, just before recording this episode is when I placed them. And that was placed last episode. So you can see they're oxidizing quite a bit faster. And I did also do a lot of off-camera gathering and got all of this copper. And there's still about maybe 2 stacks of copper blocks just strewn around this place waiting to oxidize. But I did get all of these ones fully oxidized, and I'm just waiting on these ones to oxidize a little bit more. And as you probably saw earlier, I did texture this pathway, and I just put in some stone brick and then some andesite that is pushed up against the edge here, and I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out. I've got to be honest, when it was just straight cobblestone, it really wasn't working for me. Mostly against this sandstone house here, it just, I don't know, it just contrasted or clashed a little bit too much. And it didn't look good, so I wanted to change this out and get it textured, and I think it looks much better now. It always looked kind of good against this terracotta house, but now I think it looks even better. But anyway, that is enough talking about what I did off camera, so let's get into building up some more of these houses and laying out some more of the roadways. So I am back, and I have to say, it is super nice to have replay mod again. So I do hope you guys enjoyed those little time lapses I did building up these houses and shops, and I didn't really get around to doing the interiors, and there are still a few details left that I need to do on these things, but for the most part, they are finished. So this one is a little bit smaller, and I'm probably going to make it a shop. So this will be like a little workspace for whoever owns the shop, and then this is where the actual shop will be. And it was a little tricky to fit this guy in here because it was such a tight space. I had to do a lot of reworking to the design of this house, or shop actually. And it took me a really long time to come up with the design, but in the end, I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out, especially given that it was very constrained by the space. And then as for this big guy here, this part is going to be a house, and I again haven't done the interior yet, and it overlooks our little village down there, and when you're down there, it actually looks really cool, and I like the way this thing looks up on the hill. And I did do brick roofs here, and honestly I want to do something a little bit different from the copper roofs on these ones, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I do want to do some adjusting to the brick texture for the texture pack, so I will get around to that eventually, but I haven't done that yet, and I need to fix that. There are a few of those on these houses that I haven't fixed yet. Anyway, this part down here I'm going to turn into another shop. I'm not exactly sure what is going to be in this shop yet, but I don't know. Anyway, through this door is my storage room, so I moved all of my storage into here and put them in these chests here, and I have my enchantment set up here and all of my furnaces and all of the stuff that I need for building. So all of that is down in there, and yeah, that's pretty much it for those two houses. I also put in the pathway here, and I haven't textured it yet, so I need to get around to doing that. And then this pathway comes along here and it overhangs this a little bit, so I'll probably fix that eventually. Not exactly sure how I'm going to fix that. But anyway, coming down to this last house here, I am not super happy with how this one turned out. I think it could have been a little bit better, and that was mostly due to poor planning on my part. So the plan wasn't super great when it came to building this house, and because of that it didn't turn out super great. So anyway, it's fine considering that. I'm not super happy about this entranceway. I may make some changes to it later, but for right now it's fine. I don't really like how open it is. I kind of want to close it off with stuff here, but I feel like that wouldn't look super great. Anyway, overall, I'm pretty happy with how this house turned out, and I did do a copper roof on this one, and as you can see over there, I actually did do some of the interiors, and I did those between episodes, and I didn't really mention that at the start, but this is a little shop here, and you got chests and stuff, and a little shelf here, and then this is like a work table with a saw on it. So, like I said in the last episode, this one I wanted to be like a woodworking shop. So I think this stone cutter fits in perfectly with that theme. And it is nighttime, so I need to go sleep. Anyway, coming up to this upper part of the house, which is where the living quarters are going to be, didn't really do too much with this entranceway. I want to do a little bit more, but I'm not exactly sure what else I want to do here, because I honestly don't know what would all go in an entranceway in this build style. So I don't know. I'll figure something out, I guess. And then coming across this walkway, we have the bedroom here. It's very basic, not too much going on. And I do want to do some hidden lighting so I don't have these torches everywhere. So this is not really the final product for this house, but it's fine for right now. And I can do some fixing up later. And then the only other interior that I did was in this house, and I'm actually kind of happy with how the interior came out in this house. Again, the entranceway is kind of basic, and I do need to do some hidden lighting in here. But coming up to here, I actually kind of really like this little bedroom area. You know, you got a nice little bed with a flower pot and the armor stand. It's pretty basic, but I think because the layout is a little more unique from that one, it works a little bit better. And I did put a little bit of hidden lighting in there and right there as well, but there are still a lot of torches everywhere, so I need to get that hidden lighting taken care of. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I've done with these houses here. I haven't really done too much to them that you guys haven't seen already, again, other than those two interiors. But before we go to the next part, I want to talk about something that happened off camera, and you can probably see I have a lot of ender pearls here. So the story behind that is I was noticing a lot of lag in this area, mostly when I looked down here, and there were a ton of entities down there. I think it said it was 100 entities. So I went down there to look what was going on, and there were a lot of Endermen down there. And as you can see, they did a lot of damage, and there's still one there. So as you guys can probably guess, I did have to disable entity damage, or mob damage, or whatever it's called. Anyway, so now these Endermen and creepers and stuff won't do any damage, and it's not really something that I wanted to do, but after seeing this, I kind of had to do it. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but there were some Endermen that were getting caught in some of these pits here that they were digging out, and they all had blocks in their hands, so they couldn't place any blocks, and they also couldn't despawn. And for some reason, they were unable to teleport out of those holes. I'm not exactly sure why, but they were all just kind of stuck there. And to give you an idea of how many Endermen were in those holes, there was a zombie in one of the holes as well that was holding an Ender Pearl, which means that there were Endermen in there that were dying due to entity cramming. So there were a ton of Endermen in there. And again, like I said, I did have to disable mob griefing because I didn't really want something like that to happen again. So it's unfortunate that I had to do that, but I kind of have to because I don't want them doing this to other parts of my builds. But as far as the cleanup goes for that, I'm not super concerned by it because, again, I do want to bring this mountainside down a little bit and push it out a little bit more. So all of that will get hidden up, and it'll all get covered up once I start working on that. But anyway, that is pretty much it that I have done since the last time we spoke. And I want to do a little bit of resource gathering to get some more resources because I kind of lost a lot of resources from building all of that stuff up there. So I think I'm going to get ready to do a little more resource gathering, and on top of that, I do want to get some resources for building up the palace on the hill there that we will get to planning out later on in the episode. So I'll do that, and I actually think I'm going to do a little bit of talking while I do some mining as well, and give some updates on some stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go get ready to do that, and then I'll see you guys once I start that. Alright, so I found this little cave here, so I'm going to do a little bit of exploring and then talk about some stuff that's been going on with my channel. So, as you guys probably have seen, I have switched to more of a simplistic editing style and content style for everything that focuses a little bit more on the commentary. And I made this change because I kind of took a little bit of a step back from my channel and looked at other channels that are in the same genre as me, which is the Minecraft building genre, and I found that most of them have a much more simple style of content than what I was doing. So because of that, I made the switch to a simpler style of content so that I could attract their audiences a little bit more, because at the end of the day, that is kind of the side of YouTube that I want my videos to get into more, is that building side of YouTube. And since their channels are much more established, and that has also been the established style of content for Minecraft building, I kind of decided to make the change to switch over to that style of content. And when it comes to the shaders, the reason why I haven't been using them as much recently is because, again, I looked at these other content creators, and another thing that I noticed about them is that they don't use shaders. And that is because a lot of people view them as more distracting and stuff, and they don't really add too much to the overall viewing experience. So again, to attract their audiences a little bit more, I am steering away from using shaders. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop using them altogether. That just means I'm going to stop using them for the main parts of the videos. So I'll still try to use them to show off builds and stuff, and I am still going to add parallax occlusion to the texture pack, even though that is something that you can only do through shaders. But for right now, I'm just not going to use shaders anymore. Anyway, when it comes to content on my channel, I do want to get back into doing some more creative builds, which again, since Replay Mod has finally updated, I can start doing those again. And I have also thought about joining an SMP, and I'm still a member of Muttoncraft, so I do want to try and do some Muttoncraft episodes, but the last I heard, we were waiting on 1.18 to come out, so that the Caves and Cliffs update would be completely finished. So that may not happen till the end of this year, unfortunately. So I do kind of want to try and do something a little bit sooner. So I thought about joining another SMP, and this wouldn't really replace Muttoncraft. It would just be in addition to Muttoncraft. So I think I might do that, but I don't know. I kind of want to get your guys' opinions on that because I don't really want to rush into something if you guys aren't going to watch it. So let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing me do an SMP and something that's not related to Muttoncraft. But again, I will probably get into doing Muttoncraft by the end of this year when 1.18 comes out. If that's still the plan, like I said, I don't know if that's still the plan yet. That was just the last I heard, is that we are waiting on 1.18 to update. And the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about is related to this series on the channel, and as well as hardcore, although I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the hardcore series because nobody's really been watching it. Anyway, as for this series, I think I'm going to make it the main series on my channel again. It's been a while since this was the main series on my channel. In fact, it's been almost a year since this series was my main series. But I think it's about time that it becomes my main series again. I have been absolutely enjoying building in this world, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it well. The views have been pretty good. They haven't been terrible, so I can't complain too much, but I've been enjoying it, and you guys have seemed to be enjoying it as well. So I think I'm going to make this the main series on my channel again. I will still do creative time lapses, and I'll probably do the next one next week. I know I didn't do one as soon as Replay Mod came out, but I kind of wanted to go a little bit slower and enjoy this series a little bit more before I started doing another creative build series. But anyway, that is basically it that I wanted to talk about. So I'm probably going to get a little bit more mining done here, and then I'll meet you guys back at the base once I'm done. Alright, so I am back, and I got a ton of resources, including a lot of diamonds. I was not expecting to find that many diamonds today, but I am very happy about that. I also got some of these glowberries, which I think you can plant these to get the glowberry vines. I don't know. I'm gonna keep them though, because I do want to do a little bit of experimenting with this 1.17 stuff, so I may use them in the future, but for right now I'm probably not going to use them that much. I also got a couple of name tags here, so if I do end up getting a pet, then I can name tag him. And I got a lot of copper and a decent amount of iron, but I really don't need the iron because I already have over 3 stacks of iron blocks, so I'm pretty set there. I don't think I really need any more. But anyway, I'm gonna get to smelting all of this up and getting set up for the next part, which is going to be planning out the palace on the hill. So I'm going to sleep first, actually. Alright, now I'm going to get ready to start planning out the palace up there. And I still have all of the copper blocks up there that I need to take care of, so I am not sure where I'm going to put those in the meantime. Anyway, I'll get everything taken care of and then we can start planning out that palace up there. So I am up here on the hill, as you can see, and I am ready to plan out this palace up here. And I did gather up all of the copper that was up here. It's about a stack's worth of copper, so I do need to put that somewhere else to oxidize, so I'll find somewhere to put those later. Anyway, right now it is time to start planning out this palace. But the basic idea that I have is I want to have sort of like a circular room here and then have a dome on the top. And then here I would have a little bit of a walkway that would go into this wing of the palace. That would just be like this long sort of wing of the palace, and I think I might put some sort of tower in this area here going up, because that's kind of where the corner of this would be going into the pathway here. That probably didn't make any sense, so I'll just start planning things out and laying things out, and hopefully it'll start making a little more sense then. And now I'm just going to extend a little pathway coming across here, so it is going to be a little bit skinnier than this room is, and I'll probably... Is that going to be wide enough? I think that should be wide enough. Yeah. So I'll extend this out a few blocks and then connect it up to the other wing of the palace, which is going to be going right there. Alright, so this is where the walkway is going to go that connects the two wings together. And then this one, I'm probably going to have a little area here, and then it'll make sort of like an L shape, and then come in here and then go down this little peninsula here. And I think I might do a little bit of a garden right here, and then just have the palace area end somewhere around here-ish. So I'll get to planning the rest of this, and then I'll come back to you guys. Alright, so here is the other wing of the palace, and in this corner is where I'm going to have a tower, and I do want to have a few more towers here. So I'll probably put some in a few other places along this wing. But that is the general gist of this palace area. And there really isn't much else to plan out. I will probably add a little bit of a wireframe to this area to give it a little more dimension and to get a better idea of the actual plan for this place. So I'll probably do that and then get back to you guys. So I'll meet you guys back once I'm done doing that. So here is the wireframe layout that I kind of have here, and honestly after doing this I think I may make a few changes to the overall layout of this place. I want to make this dome over here a little bit bigger because it is a little small with how it's planned out right now, and I'll probably just push it up a little bit closer to the edge here and make it a lot bigger. I did build this room, this circular room, in creative mode just to get a test of what this would look like, what style I wanted to go with and stuff, and this dome was just way too small and it looked really awkward and out of place. So I'll probably make that a little bit bigger. And then coming over to here, I think I may want to break up this wing of the palace a little bit more and maybe have it cut off here, and so that you would have this building over here and then have a small pathway sort of like that one going over here to another building that's over here, and maybe make this one a little bit taller or like 2 stories tall or something like that. Also with these towers here, I think I might make them out of terracotta. I was originally going to make this entire palace out of sandstone, but now I think I might make these towers here out of the terracotta, because I think that would look kind of cool, having some of the stuff made out of terracotta and then other parts made out of sandstone. So I think that would add a extra little layer of uniqueness to this place. Anyway, as for these little parts here, these are supposed to be like balconies or patios or whatever, and honestly I might get rid of them, or I might change them. I'm not super happy with how they look right now, so I'll probably do some adjusting to them. And as for this one, it's going to be sort of like a garden area, and I do want to change this so that it follows the shape of the terrain a little bit better to make it a little bit more organic. I think that would be better for this situation here. And then for this one here, this is going to be like the main entrance area, or at least that's what I have so far. And then you have the staircase here that goes down to this level underneath this little walkway. And I'm thinking right now about having it curve down around this hill here and then come out around that area right there. I think that would actually be really cool to have like a curving, winding staircase around this mountain here, and then it would just come out probably under here, so it would come down there and then come through here and connect up to the city through that pathway right there. So that is my plan right now for this area. I've got a lot of ideas for this. I am thinking about changing the plan for this main wing here to be sort of like a hodgepodge of a bunch of different buildings and rooms and stuff, but honestly, I'm not sure if I want to go with that, because I'm not sure if that would look good, because I don't want this to look perfect, but I also don't want it to look super imperfect and weird and stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of ideas that I have for this area, and I'll try to figure out off camera between episodes what I actually want to go with. But next week, like I said, I'll probably do a creative build, so there won't be another Fragger Builds episode next week, and I should have plenty of time to figure this out. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I wanted to get done today, so I will probably start that mountainside renovation between episodes. I'm not exactly sure how far I'll get on that, but I do want to start that very soon. So hopefully you did enjoy this episode, and if you did, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button down below. And of course, if you have any suggestions for this series or any other series on my channel, then make sure to leave those down in the comment section below. And if you guys want to interact with me or my community outside of YouTube, then make sure to join my Discord server, linked down in the description. But anyway, that's all I have time for today, so as always, don't forget to keep building.